your solution sounds interesting, but there's not enough information for them to make a decision, that's where you want to leave them to get them to say yes to a call.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Win the Hour, Win the Day. And today I am excited with another great guest we have is Mike Moll. Now, Mike, welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Okay, we like to dive in here really quickly. No fluff, no muss, just get to the good stuff. And so today we're going to talk about LinkedIn, and we're going to really explore we're going to do this, I think, dive deeper than we have before on the show and talk about outreach. And is LinkedIn somewhere where you should spend a little bit of money? Because I'm all about things that work efficiently. You know, a lot of the biggest platforms in the world that are the most effective are free or next to free. So we really want to be purposeful and strategic when we start investing. So Mike, why don't you talk to us or start us off and what you think is like, what should we be doing on LinkedIn and why should we be doing it?
Absolutely. So for a little bit of context, for me, I'm primarily reaching out, business to business. So I'm trying to get a hold of a decision maker at a particular company who holds a certain role that they do a certain service within that business. And LinkedIn genuinely is the most robust in terms of data about organizational size. It's where people are actually honest about what they do. And what I mean by that is if you filter people by their job title on Facebook, there's I think 20 million people that work at Facebook because you can self-identify where you work.
Oh, yeah.
People with 30, 40 job titles. I mean, it's a bit of a mess. Whereas LinkedIn, because it's a professional network, because people are trying to, either be recruited or meet other people in their space, they're pretty honest about who they are.
Direct.
They do. It's very direct.
Yeah. Okay. So our audience are entrepreneurs reaching out to other entrepreneurs. So what should we be doing?
Great. So I think the number one thing is, LinkedIn has all the information, but again, as you said, on the free platform, is it streamlined enough? Is it effective enough to get to the people that you want to at scale? In my opinion, the answer is no.
Okay.
So what I like to do is I like to use a tool called LinkedIn Sales Navigator.
Okay.
So it's about $100 a month, but I find the amount of time it saves me on searching and compiling lists of people that I want to reach out to, it's always, always, always worth the money.
Okay. So let me just stop you there for a second and pause you. So I know there's free, and then I think there's two platforms. There's Sales Navigator, and I think there is another paid option. Is it less robust than Sales Navigator? Are you familiar with that? Can you distinguish that for us?
Yeah, so they all work very, very, very similar. I think there's 4 paid products.
Okay.
So there's Sales Navigator, there's a Recruiter.
Okay.
And then there's at least one other one. I've never used it. What I know is they all are about 90% the same.
Okay.
And then there's 10% variation in the function of them because they're being used for a different function. So Sales Navigator, for example, is dedicated to doing sales outreach. So it comes with, the ability to search in great detail. It comes with the ability to send messages to people you're not connected with, et cetera. Versus Recruiter, which is more for if you're in the recruitment field, you're trying to build the network of people that you could place into a job. And so the products that they make are dedicated to the sales or the profession that you're in. They are really specially made.
Okay, I got it now. Okay, so I'll look this up and after, because I knew there was, I didn't even count Recruiter because obviously I'm not recruiting, and then Sales Navigator for sure. And I thought there was one before Sales Navigator, and I could never tell the difference. So that's okay. So go ahead.
That one is LinkedIn Premium. My apologies.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. So what's the difference between Premium and Sales Navigator?
So similar to a lot of, I'm comparing it to dating apps because that's what they do now. They kind of say, hey, a bunch of people are looking at you on your basic one, right? On your free plan, a bunch of people are looking at you, from these types of job titles, from these types of areas, but they're not giving you who the person is necessarily. LinkedIn Premium says, okay, we're going to let you send a handful of messages for free every month to people you're not connected with.
Right.
We're also going to tell you every single person that looks at your content. We're going to show you every single person that looks at your profile. So if you've got somebody that's keeping an eye on you, you can easily vet and figure out who that person is. That's the difference between free and premium. It's access to who's engaging with you.
Okay. So on the free, they'll say, oh, you had whatever, 45 people review your profile. but here's 2 of them. And the premium, they'll give you that. But if we're coming into the premium, which I don't think there's a big price difference between premium and Sales Navigator, what you're suggesting is we should just go for big, go home and get the Sales Navigator, because then we can do outreach, and we could, in my case, I would maybe then be looking at PR people or researching things that where I could be writing articles or, producers of shows for more media opportunities. So I could do that in Sales Navigator, but I couldn't on premium.
Correct.
Okay.
And so, and it's not to say that you cannot on premium and free. The degree of difficulty is exponentially higher, and the amount of time it takes is crazy. Sales Navigator literally takes everything into a 30-second plug, and you're done. You have all the data you'll ever need.
So it's not like I can't cut and sew my own clothes, but why would I? It's a bit time consuming, right? Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever done a search for so for example, when you do a search on the free one for, a certain job title in a certain, it'll pull up the different filters within your search, and you can kind of go through it, but it's very scattered, and you'll get searches that are outside of your filtered rules or what you actually want, because it's just not organized well, and it's designed to not be organized well so that you feel like you need to buy it.
Right. It's a company too. They want money. They want to keep moving forward. They've got competitors as well, as we all know. So, all right. So we're going to make a purchase. Let's assume we are, because this is one place we say, okay, let's get serious, and tell me, what should we be doing and what works well?
Yeah, absolutely. So my biggest thing with it is its ability to filter down people in the most specific way you can, is in terms of, your buyer persona. So as an example, if I go in and I say, I'm selling to, VPs and directors of marketing in companies that are in biotech, who are located in the United States, whose company size is over 100 people, who have gone to a particular school. I mean, it's incredible. So couple of the main things that you can do with it is obviously job title, job function. You can also narrow that down within an individual company, which is, again, that's a very narrow scope, but you can say what industry you want their business to be in. You can say what company size, like the head count of the company. You can also layer in education level. You can layer in a ton of different variables to really narrow down like the exact person you're trying to reach.
Okay. So let's say, obviously we're entrepreneurs, as I, mentioned before. So we're dealing with, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm going to be looking for my ideal client, or people really constantly just working too much. You guys all know that, I'm all about your business should support your life instead of consume it. So I might be dealing with entrepreneurs that have a team of 0 to 5, have been in business at least 5 years, because we don't traditionally deal with new companies for a variety of reasons. So I'm doing all that. But you know what? My back goes up a little bit, because that's great. We filter it down. And I don't know if this is the area you cover, but now I hear this, oh, great. Am I going to be one of those annoying people on LinkedIn before you say hello and they're giving me this great big pitch, which I'll tell you, I just disconnect from, like, before they're selling me before they say hello, or they say hello in a sort of, I don't want to say seductive, but they're luring me in with some hello. And then I say hello back. And then all of a sudden, here we go. We're off to the races with selling me. I just disconnect. So I'm paying for this because it can do all these cool things. But when I get to it, am I just going to be annoying?
This is my favorite part of the conversation. I think the vast majority of people, and I see it, it's so funny. There's these cycles, because you can always see who sold an online course or how to do LinkedIn outreach, because there's a messaging cadence, and there's like, oh, okay, these people all came from this person, because that's the script for them to use. And I mean, it's infuriating. And when you have founder or owner or CEO in your job title, I mean, they come in a mile a minute. So I understand that pain, and I understand the frustration there, because I receive it too. So something I like to do, it's the least scalable but most effective marketing method I've ever used. And I've actually used it when in my coaching to help other people grow their business, but I've actually used it to grow all of my own companies.
Okay.
So what I do is I send them a video.
Okay.
Now, I've tried a lot of different ways. I was trying to calculate it a few months ago. I think I've sent over 10,000 videos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because
Love it.
I actually had it to a point where I could do 40 a day. And when I was
Okay.
doing mass outreach, I'm like, okay, 40 times that. I was like, okay, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of videos going out. So here's kind of like what I've distilled down to the most effective way
We
and
love that.
the best delivery. So one cool thing about social media platforms, including LinkedIn, if you when you're in the messaging function, you have the ability to send them a text. You also, if you click the little attachment button right beside the right beside where you enter the text, it pops up with a whole bunch of different options. So you can
Okay.
attach a picture, you can attach a video, you can record a video, you can record an audio message. And so
Okay.
all you do is you either click, I sometimes will just do it on audio, but sometimes with video, click the little
I've done
video.
audio and those are really well received. And I've
Mhm.
done, I'm known for my videos, I'll tell you, Mike, but what I've been doing is I've been using them on BombBomb. And so I'll send a video and I've got a little thing with their name on it so they know it's custom. So I'm all about the custom videos. So why would I want to use LinkedIn video instead of my BombBomb video?
Got it. Yeah. And I mean, look, they can both work. And if you can't hold them on LinkedIn and you have to send an email, you're stuck with BombBomb anyway, because it's got to get out there somehow. The reason I like it is on first contact, if I don't know who you are and that you're just some random that's reached out and I'm expecting something bad to happen, because that's really what it's come down to, sadly,
Yeah.
right? We're
Yeah.
always expecting either a pitch or something,
Yeah.
some negative interaction. So by sending somebody a link, I think people get a little bit reluctant, a little trigger shy to click on a link because they're like, is
Now,
this?
mine, let me just jump in there. With the BombBomb, there is a GIF. That's the whole
Yep.
thing. So the
Yeah.
GIF pops up and they see me holding their name. So I'm not advocating for BombBomb.
Yeah.
I just want to know. So I think obviously LinkedIn would have a video, so they'd have features that would benefit them versus my BombBomb video. So I'm all about the video. How can we tweak this even more? So what would be the advantage of me using the LinkedIn video?
I just think so. So I think what I've seen in terms of attaching versus recording in
Okay.
platform, the video is just this like it's just a massive. I mean, it takes up the whole screen. You can, and again,
Okay.
the way that you said the GIF is great with the name
Yeah.
with saying hi. So that I think that's 90% of what needs to be done to make it effective. Um, but there's just something about that, that big play button. The video can be as long as you want it to be. So my
Okay.
videos are usually between 40 seconds and a minute and 20 seconds when I go
Okay.
through kind of like my system of
So it
outreach.
pops up differently.
It pops up differently. It pops up really tall with a big play button. And it just feels, to me, when I see it, it feels very inviting. Um,
Okay. Because
and
then you
there's,
kind of have to hit play versus go into the email. Okay. So we're doing the video. I like that. I would have never thought to do that. And again, the audio, I've sent audio all the time and people make it seem like I sat down and I had a quill and I wrote a big, like it's this big thing. They so appreciate it. But first of
yeah,
all, it's quicker.
yeah,
And then they hear your voice and there is a more of a person to person thing and they're hearing it in your tone versus the tone they're reading it where, oh, she's trying to sell me something, whatever. Right. Okay. So we're going to send video or audio. We're going to do that. Now, this is our first contact. So how are you going to charm me, Mike?
great question.
No
So,
pressure.
not a problem. So there's five main pieces
Okay.
that I like to incorporate into this. One is to say hi.
Okay.
I think a lot of people,
Write that down, everyone. Hello.
yeah,
That sounds silly, but it's important,
it really is,
Yeah.
and then there's two pieces that I like to add on to the hi. So my first 20 seconds looks like this, hey, Chris, I just wanted to reach out and thank you for connecting. So that's the second part. Thank you for connecting, which is
Okay.
essentially thank you for the time that you're going to spend watching this video. But I think, people's time is precious and you haven't earned their time yet.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, the psychological trick of a video with a button is like, you can't not push that button. You're going to push everyone pushes the button because what is this going to be? Is this going to be
Yeah.
weird? Is it going to be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The temptation is there. So to me, it's like thanking them for their time and their energy to participate. And what I do is I just say, hey, I just wanted to thank you for connecting with me. Because you can't send a video unless you're connected with the person, right? So
Right. Okay.
taking the time to connect, thank them for connecting. And then what I like to do is I like to disarm them. So automatically they think it's a sales pitch. They've got their back up. They're waiting for the ball to drop. They're thinking, what does this person want? Right. So, and I never deny that I'm trying to sell anything, but what I do is I disarm them in a bit of a different way. hey, I'm sure you get a ton of automated, lazy outreach messages on here all the time. I just wanted to stand out and do something different. So I kind of take their mind off of like the fact that I'm going to pitch, because I am pitching. Now, I'm not going to pitch a service right now. I'm going to pitch them on a conversation. It's really important to keep this video short, keep this video concise, and keep the goal just to get them to the next level. Whether that's, I want to send you some more information about this, whether that's, I want to book a call with you, whether that's, whatever that thing is. But I think where a lot of people get stuck, especially with these long form outreaches, is they tell them how their product's so amazing and how they have to use it. And then, when are we going to talk about it? And it's like, whoa.
Okay. So hold on. So I hear you. So we're going to say with the first 20 seconds, you're going to say hello, because that does matter. I mean, I've even seen jokes like that where you're like, hey, whatever, you're watching a TV show and somebody likes somebody and like, what do I say? Go say hello, like hello, right? We always skip the hello. So say hello. Thank you for opening this. We're going to disarm them. Now, I'm not sure if I got overexcited and got distracted with your messaging there, but we're going to disarm them. But you said, yes, we will. We're going to be honest. Okay. We're not going to be like the other lazy people sending out generic stuff, but we are going to be honest that whatever, we have something for them. How do we lead into that effectively without saying we're not like them, but here I am like them?
Got it. Yeah. And so I leave that out of the disarm part. The disarm is just like, hey, I thought I'd come up with a unique way of reaching out to you. Okay. So whatever. So that's kind of like first 20 seconds. Then I think what's most important next in sales is they don't need to understand you. They don't know you. They don't care about you. They don't care about your service or your product. In sales, people need to feel understood. What I do now is I spend the next at least 20 seconds. So the majority of this video is focused on them. Okay. Now, we're going to make some assumptions.
Right.
But we want to keep those assumptions as safe as possible, because we do not want to get too narrow and have them say, well, that's not my exact case. So that's now your credibility.
Okay. So in my case, my clients tend to do well. They look fine online, but they are still working way more hours than they should. And they always think, once I get past this next thing, right? So it's almost like they've got this dark secret because they're working later at night when their family goes to bed, they're getting up earlier in the morning. And, they're still grinding it out way more than they should be at this point. Right. Yep. So, wanting to get to the real work, and they're trapped in the web of admin. So would I lead in when I get to that point? I guess I'm trying to figure out, because I know how to do it when I'm talking to somebody here, but when I'm now in this video, how do I soften that so it doesn't go slide into a sales like I would in a sales call?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. To me, the two most effective tools are people like you and feel, felt, found. So those are two sales mechanisms, because here's the thing. If you tell someone that they're struggling with this, they're going to get their back up. They're going to rebel. People don't like being told what to do. People don't like being told what they need. They like, I can make that decision for me. So never take away the autonomy by saying, you're struggling with this, or you're probably struggling with this, because they're like, no, they're instantly feeling rebellious about your statement and they don't want to do it. So the way I would kind of broach this is, hey, the reason I'm reaching out is that we work with companies that are, of your size, in your type of industry. So it's like, okay, so you've got experience with people that my size company, my industry. So that's okay, great. It means that you know how to service this type of thing without saying that you do. We generally work with people in this industry, companies of this size. A majority of the people that we work with tend to feel in that fourth and fifth year of business that they are feeling a little bit stuck. They feel like they're working too many hours, and they have struggled with trying to get out of that grind. And what we do is we actually help guide them through that process, build systems. So you're not saying they are, you're saying people like them.
Right.
So that's usually,
which I'm fine with in the sales process. I just didn't know here, how do I do that without like making it soft? So that was a really great example. So it's soft and fluid. So we go, okay, try people like you trying to still get out of the grind. And then do I offer them something in that video?
Yeah. So the second last part, and it's short, is what about you? Why you? Why should they talk to you? So
Okay.
keeping in mind that all you're doing here is you're selling a conversation. You want them to communicate with you, whether you call it a discovery call, whether you call it sending them an info pack, whatever that thing is, just that one next step, not getting them to sign up with you, just that one next step. So, hey, if any of this resonates with you, and you wanted to learn more about the way that we do it, kind of here's like a 10-second spiel. What we do is we take a really deep dive in, we build systems, if this sounds interesting to you, I would love to continue the conversation. So you're giving a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of what you do, but you really want to simplify it and you want to contextualize it to 1 to 2 sentences max. So whatever your pitch is should be in that block, because what you don't want to do is the more you explain and the more you express how your product and your service works, the more objections start popping up into their head that you can't answer because they're just listening to a one-way message. If you're talking to them on the phone, they can say, oh, I don't think I need that. And then you can dive in and dissect. If you give all those things in a video, it's the same thing if your sales page is too long, right? Someone comes in and they said, oh, well, this isn't me and that's not me. So this whole thing is not me. Yeah. So giving them like the really consolidated, we help people by doing this 1 to 2 sentences, lets them feel a little bit of the mystery of, okay, well, that sounds intriguing, but what happens? What do you do? How does it work? Right? That's how you get them on the phone. That's the hook, is leave them wanting more because they resonate with the problem. Your solution sounds interesting, but there's not enough information for them to make a decision. That's where you want to leave them to get them to say yes to a call.
I think you do a couple of things very well. I'm sure you do many, but I'll point out the last couple. And I think what you're saying here is, first of all, there's many things that I know to do or not do in the sales process, but we have all been sort of amped up on video time. Like you only got so much seconds and it's really great if you do video. So if you're not careful, the video hit play and all of a sudden you're like, la, 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 like some Xeno warrior princess here, just like words are coming out because you think, oh, I've got 30 seconds to get their attention. And it's a blast coming at you. So I think your dialogue here makes it a very smooth and relaxed transition, which is really what I want, anyone wants. I have no interest in convincing, and that's why we don't work with new businesses, because for so many reasons. But one is I'm not here to convince you of anything. And we many times have an application to work with us. So it just doesn't work when you try to drag somebody in, to get that next sale. It doesn't work. So the people who've been in business 5, 8 years know that now, right? So what you're doing here through this process is you are making it very relaxed and very inviting. So we got some really soft language that will protect us from just doing that video blitz and getting all hopped up because you got them to open it. Now, when you say here at the end, we're selling a conversation. So if this sounds like you, have you, Mike, in the past, do you take them just to, if this sounds like you, let me know, and we could do a strategy call and we dive deeper? Or then you mentioned a video with 5 things that do we take them right to try to get that contact? Is that too much of a leap through this video for you?
So I always pitch a phone call or a next steps conversation.
Okay.
Because for me, a discovery call is pertinent to know if this person's anywhere. Like that's the only way I'm going to know if I can work with the person.
Right.
So what I generally tend to do, pardon me, is I say, so the last piece is to ask for the conversation. But again, it's that idea of leaving the autonomy to them.
Right.
A lot of people try and force the issue and say, hey, this is perfect for businesses like you. Like you got to do this. Or they even push the like, hey, let's talk next Wednesday. What works better, 3 or 5?
Oh yeah. Yeah. 1 or 4.
that corner you in. And honestly, like, I just think that's such an old school way to do it. Not to say it doesn't work, not to say it cannot be effective, but here's the thing. When I've sent a video and I say, hey, I don't know if this connects with you, but if it does, I'd love to have a conversation about what we do. And if we're a great fit, I would love to look at working together. And if we can't help you do what you're trying to do, then at least, you could grab some free information from me. Use it as like almost like a little Mhm.
Mike, time is flying by so fast with you. We're almost out of time, but I do want to ask two quick questions. One is, if they don't respond or whatever, do you follow up with them?
Yeah, so I do a 2 and then a 3 and then a 4 week follow up. So I put it in my CRM. After two
Okay.
weeks, I do a quick poke, and then 3 weeks, and then 4 weeks. I don't like rapid follow up
Okay.
because they've
And
likely
when you
seen it.
follow up, is it just a softer, shorter version of what you just did?
I usually just go to text from there. I put in the effort
Oh,
of,
perfect. Okay.
I just,
And
yeah,
when you say text, just, hey, I want to make sure you saw the previous video or okay.
my last one. So so I've got one follow up two. My third follow up, which actually is probably the highest converting follow up,
Okay.
is hey, you may have seen this, you may have not. Either way, I don't want to be that person on here that pesters you. So I will leave the ball in your court. If you decide that this is something you want to chat with me about, let me know. And I say I'm not. As soon as I say I'm not going to reach out to you anymore, then they're like, oh, well, hold on. I don't want to miss out on the opportunity.
That's how my
So
husband got me. He was like, "Okay, I've asked you out enough times. This is the last time. The ball's in your court. I'm not doing this again." I'm like, "Oh, okay, hold on. Let me think." Yes. Okay, so just to go back a quick loop to the front, when we talked about the premium from we got LinkedIn free, your LinkedIn premium gives you the opportunity to reach out and see who's checking your page, and there's this whole credit system where you can reach out to people you're not connected with emails. But in order to do this process, no, I guess you can do the video in any of these, but the Sales Navigator gives us the information to make sure these videos are effective.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
it allows you to really pinpoint the
Okay.
exact what you want to reach.
Well, fantastic, Mike. This was time well spent for us, I have to say. Oh my heavens. Okay, man, I'm just trying to figure out what are we going to do, people? We'll have to come up with a new title and have you back. So awesome. All right, Mike, where can they find more of your brilliance?
You can find me on Instagram at the Mike Moll, or you can find me on LinkedIn. Send me a video, Mike Moll, Moll.
Well, that was funny. After 25 minutes of LinkedIn, he mentioned Instagram first. So,
I just, you know what it is? It's because I travel full time with my work, and I have this. I don't know. I'm just so active on it because it's fun. But yeah,
okay.
professional. Go to LinkedIn, I guess.
Gotcha. All right, Mike. Well, thank you so much. We so appreciate it. And everyone else, we will see you in the next episode.
All right. Thank you.